Hello, my brothers and sisters. My brothers and sisters in the Arsenal fandom around the world. I'm back. I've actually got some videos to post up which I recorded a few days ago, but I've been so busy. I've had to help a friend with cooking and so on, and I've just been flat out. I hope you're alright and everything's going well in your lives. If you're new around there, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you click on the bell to get all the notifications when we're going live and when we're uploading the video and so on and so forth. We only got 4 subscribers, but it's a new channel, I understand. But try and please, if you see this, if you see any of our other videos on our shorts, our live streams, please just hit the like button on the videos and just subscribe to the channel. There's going to be some good things on the horizon and some things to give away. I'm not just saying that to entice you, but it's genuine and it's from the heart and it's something I've done before. So hit the subscribe button and hit the likes and spread the news, share our videos, leave your comments. And thank you so far for the subscribers, even though there's only 4 of you. And thank you so far for all the likes to our videos. There's only a handful, but I still appreciate it. It doesn't matter how big or small it is. We're here to talk about Arsenal, of course. Of course, this is an Arsenal fan channel. We're here to talk about some of the latest transfer gossip. And I want to say this fact. We've been linked forever with Kylian Mbappe. Yeah. I personally don't think we're going to get Kylian Mbappe. I personally think Kylian Mbappe is off his own. I saw something yesterday. He was going to Saudi Arabia because, you know, these guys, these sheiks in Saudi Arabia, these billionaire, I should say, not millionaire, these billionaire oil barons in Saudi Arabia, they've got more money than life. They've got more money than anyone can even wish to imagine, and they're throwing money at their new league or their league because they're trying to improve it, I suppose, and maybe in a few years' time, there might be what is called a World Super League or World Champions League. Somebody was talking about that the other day, but I thought about this 5 or 6 years ago that maybe one day there might be what we call a World Super League. You know, like the World Cup, but in club football. So the Premier League, they'll mix it, all the top teams in the Premier League and all the top teams from around the world. What will happen? They'll form a league, and then maybe 2 or 3 or 4 teams come out of that league and form like a knockout stage. It's something to talk about down in the future, and I think FIFA might be thinking about this. But the Saudis are throwing money left, right, and centre, and then Kylian Mbappe is the one of the teams out there. I can't quite remember what team it is, but everyone knows that he's being ready for Real Madrid. The Saudi team offered PSG, I think it was £259 million, and they've accepted it. But it's whether or not Mbappe, with his big ego, and I like him, but it does get on my nerves sometimes with his antics. But with his big ego, is he going to accept that? He might want to play in what's really deemed as an inferior league compared to the big leagues in Europe and South America, and so on and so forth. So we'll have to wait and see, but we all know that Real Madrid beckons for him. And if he doesn't meet the move to Real Madrid in the next 2 years, I don't know if he ever will. Because maybe somebody will emerge, you know, and then they go to Real Madrid and so on. You just never know. Or somebody might have eclipsed him by that time. Because at the moment, he's probably the best player in the world. But who's to say that somebody might eclipse him and see him and go ahead of him? And then Real Madrid might go and get that player. But because football can change within a matter of months. Somebody, at the moment, it's Kylian Mbappe and Haaland. It could be in the next 3 or 4 years somebody totally different. So we'll have to just wait and see. But Arsenal, I would love him to sign for Arsenal. I would love us to make the bid, but we're not going to match that. We're not going to match £259. And the wages as well, he's been offered something like, I don't know, I'm sure I heard this somewhere on YouTube from one of the guys on one of those channels that he might be earning as much as £7 million. I think it's £7 million a week. Yeah, that is absurd. That is absurd. Absurd. That is absurd. That is just an absolute. That is just absolutely amazing. As good as he is, I mean, not even Messi, and he's the best player, one of the best players of all time. You know, that is just more than what you call a king's ransom. But anyway, we'll see. So even though I love him to join, I love Kylian Mbappe, but I can't see it. Harry Kane has also been doing the rounds because, you know, there was an ultimatum today by the Spurs chairman saying that, look, it's either we sell Kane now, if he can't agree a contract, he's going to be sold because we don't want to lose money because maybe next year he'll be out of contract. Next year he'll be out of contract. and Spurs would lose a lot of money. He could have went to Manchester City last year, but they went for Ireland instead. And in my opinion, Arsenal, he's an Arsenal fan. We've all seen the pictures of him when we were winning the league back in 2024, the invincible season. How he went out with his friend and his hair was coloured in red and he had an Arsenal top on. We all know he's a gooner. And even though he plays for our arch rivals up the road, he's still a gooner. And so we ought to say that Arsenal go in and even offer £80 million if Spurs will turn it down. If they turn it down, we'll go as far. I'm not paying more. I don't want us to pay more than 80, but I'll push out for at least 90 million because he's 30 this year. I mean, he hasn't got much resale value. This will probably be his last move, last big move, probably, well, his only move really. And now if Arsenal was to offer, say, 90 million, 85, 90 million, hopefully Spurs accept it, because I think if he came to Arsenal, we will get probably 3 good years out of him. And we could win the league with him. We possibly could go close in the Champions League, maybe even win it if we can get. I was saying to somebody today that if we were to go out, if money was our object and Arsenal went out and just went out and got Caicedo, because Chelsea and Brighton are having they were a bit of loggerheads, because Chelsea not meeting the Brighton valuation of Caicedo. They want £100 million because I've seen Declan Rice move to Arsenal for 105, and they reckon that Caicedo is as good as, if not better, and I think he's a better player than Rice. Oh, that's my first choice. Well, I wanted in the first place ahead of Rice. But we've got Rice, and then Caicedo's still there at Brighton, and he wants to move. He wants to play in the Champions League. Chelsea are messing around. They're not in the Champions League. But if Arsenal was to go in and say, look, Brighton, even start at 90 million and say, well, would you take that? And if they say no, I'll go back and offer maybe Eddie Nketiah plus 80, plus 90 and say, okay, would you take that? And if they still say no, offer them 100. They might want more than 100. I won't go more than 100. Offer 100 and see where we go with that. And hopefully you can get him for that. And if we were to sign, I was saying before, if we were to sign Caicedo and Harry Kane, I want 3 or 4 more players. But if we just to go out and get 2 more, Harry Kane and Caicedo, that's nearly £200 million. To go with what we spent on Rice, that's almost 300 million. That'd be 290, 300 million on 3 top players who've all played in the Premier League and Premier League ready. I personally reckon that we could win the league. As good as City are, we could definitely win the league with those 2 additions of Caicedo and Harry Kane. And to go with what we've got already, and when the team gels and they get used to playing with each other, and so on. And I think City have sold some good players this season. You know, they've sold Mahrez to the Saudi League. Kyle Walker's more or less on his way to Bayern Munich. You know, Bernardo Silva, I'm hearing that he's on the verge of Barcelona looking at him. They've also lost the captain Gundogan to Barcelona as well. So we just have to see that that's 4 key players for City. And plus last season they lost 2 other key players to us in Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus, and also they sold Raheem Sterling to Chelsea. So City are losing players, but they're also adding good. That's what Pep is really good at, adding quality, replacing quality with quality, basically. So we'll just have to see if these are what we call a pipe dream. They're a pipe dream to get Harry Kane, Caicedo, along with what we've got already, Havertz, Rice. We've already spent £200 million virtually. Another £200 million. That's what? That's £400 million. That's going to really, really upset FFP. But we have to wait and see. If we want to win the league, we're going to do this. But hopefully we can get those 2 players or 2 players of that ilk and sell our surplus players like Eddie, Holding, you know. So Eddie Nketiah, Rob Holding, Cedric, and 1 or 2 other players, you know. And personally speaking, if a good bid comes in for Tierney, I would sell him. No less than 50. If it's Newcastle, for me, it's 70 million, 60, 70, because they got all that money, you know. So I'll load up for 60 to 70 million pounds if it's Newcastle. Anybody else, you know, if it's Villa, say 50 million pounds for it, because they're not as rich as Newcastle. But if Newcastle come calling for Tierney, and those rumours have kind of like gone silent recently, but if they come back in for him, maybe closer to the end of the transfer window, at the end of August, start of September, then I would say 60 to 70. Yeah, you know, start negotiating that way. You know, Eddie can go. I think we can fetch 20 for Eddie. Balogun's another player. Inter Milan are linked with him, and that's why he was able. Because there's been a foray. There's been a what we call, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. There's been a lot of talk in the Arsenal fandom about, you know, should we keep Balogun? Should we sell Balogun? And he was training in his own recently. Never played against Manchester United when we lost 2-0 in a friendly on Saturday night. He wasn't even. I believe he wasn't even on the bench, or he was on the bench but he wasn't used. Something like. But I wasn't really following that game because it's a friendly. I just heard bits and pieces, So I wasn't too enwrapped in it. We lost, but hopefully we can do better and closer to the end of the pre-season, we get back into peak form again. But I'm hearing that he was training in his zone, and that it could be that a tactic used by Arteta, because apparently the clubs Arsenal and Inter Milan were talking about a possible sell of Florian Balogun. So I'm hoping that we don't hold up for less than £50 million. I'm seeing 35. That's in this day and age, that is nothing. We need to at least get £50 million for Florian Balogun. I'm not expecting more than 50. But if we can get 45 to 50, I'm trying to be realistic, not 35, not 30. If we can get 45 to 50 million, maybe 45 of add-ons, I'll be happy with that. Because he's done it in the French league a bit for one season, but he's not a seasoned pro. He's done it for us for years, or been to, So if we can get 45 to 50 million with add-ons, I'll be so happy. I'll be so happy with that. Or maybe it's sort of what we call a very lucrative and a very profit-making buyback clause into the contract, so that if he blows up and something happens, he wants to leave, or Inter have to sell him for financial reasons, then we can get him back. We did that with Fabregas, but we never. Arsene Wenger didn't want him back. So he went to Chelsea instead. Anyway, and so those are the transfer news for the time. Well, there's one or two more. We're linked to Rafinha, but I don't really want to talk about Rafinha because he didn't want to join us last season when he left. When he just about kept Leeds up last year, and we were linked to him. And then Chelsea came in, and then Barcelona. He knew that Barcelona were linked to him, and he wanted all along to join Barcelona. We wasted a lot of time trying to pursue him. I don't think he wants to come to us, so I think he wants to stay at Barca, or maybe, I don't know, if he comes back, maybe a Manchester City. I don't know, but I don't know. But Eddie's got the contacts in Brazil. He used to work with the Brazil national team, so he knows Rafinha quite well. I believe that his ex-teammate Deco is his agent, is Rafinha's agent. So we just have to wait and see what happens. I wanted Diaby, but he's gone to Aston Villa now. I prefer Kudus to Rafinha. Kudus, every time I've seen Kudus, he looks lively. He looked lively in the World Cup. I was saying to myself, at the World Cup for Ghana, he could go a bit more. And he's only still 22, so he's got a long way to go. But I prefer him to Rafinha. Rafinha was dour for Brazil in the World Cup. Dour, absolutely dour. So I prefer Kudus. And we've got Partey, and that's his teammate and his friend. So that he could help him to bed in as well. So I prefer Kudus. We still need another player. We need a striker, but I'm hearing that Arteta, after the game against Manchester United when we lost, he said that, he was saying that the options that Kai Havertz gives us, he could play as a striker, could play as a false nine. And so he looks as though he's got many roles for Kai Havertz to play, not just in the midfield as an 8 next to Odegaard and ahead of Partey or Rice or both. He wants to actually, play him in several positions up front. So he wants to play maybe on the left side, as left side for the forward, someone for Martinelli. He wants to play him as a left 8, which is a bit deeper, closer to the shield which is Partey and Declan Rice. And you can also play him as a false 9, or play him as an out-and-out target man striker. I don't know if you remember the days of John Hartson. We used to play John Hartson a lot on his own up front when George Graham was there, and then also when Arsene Wenger was there. Sometimes John Hartson played up front as a lone target man, and you had other guys joining in, and Ian Wright would play up. Even when Ian Wright wasn't around, he'd play as he on his own up front, or when Ian Wright was playing with him, he would just drop off a bit and be the target man. But we'll see. We'll have to see what it is. It's going to be very fascinating. We still need those 2 additions. If we can get Kudus, he can play in several positions. But I'll still think we need another striker who could put the ball in the back of the net. That's why I was so against us selling Balogun. I want us to keep Balogun because Balogun, he runs in behind. But I think because Arteta likes ball to feet, he likes a bit of tick-a-tacker, ball to feet. Balogun's game isn't based on pass and move and so on. It's based on just speed running through the middle, but like what Ian Wright used to do. But we don't play like that anymore. We don't play that fast blistering football anymore. The ball over the top. We play to feet. We play like Pep's teams do, to feet, tick-a-tacker. And then if there's a chance on And Balogun is not really a guy renowned for passing and moving. He's a guy like to stay up there and wait for the ball and then make the runs. And he makes some very intelligent runs. Because I've seen some of his games when he played in France, and he makes some very intelligent runs. And he played a couple of games for us in the League Cup, and he does make some good runs. I've seen him play also for America. And so on. And Eddie does. He's not as good as Balogun. The Balogun's a better. He's more physical as well. But the reason why Arteta, I think, likes Eddie more is because Eddie's more quiet. Balogun's got a bit of an ego, whereas Eddie's a bit more humble, and he doesn't mind playing. He doesn't mind playing on the flanks as well as up front. He plays anywhere Arteta wants him to play. Doesn't moan. Doesn't kick up a fuss. A lot of times he's on the bench. He doesn't kick up a fuss through the media or through the in the behind the scenes and so on. Whereas Balogun comes across like he's mouthy, and even though it's good to be confident in your own ability, it's a bit too soon. He hasn't done anything in the game yet, so you need to just bring yourself a peg or two down and just humble yourself and just learn the game and just try and be respectful. But I like him. I do like his attitude at the same time. But you've got to know when to switch it on and off. It doesn't work like that. You can't just come out like that and just mouth. Everything's going to be calculated and done at the right time in the right way as well. I might post another video again later on, if not later on tonight, early in the morning. I want to talk about Balogun. I want to talk about Fabregas as well, and I also want to talk about William Saliba. So there's a few things. So I might pull up one more video after this, or two more, and then we'll see. And then tomorrow is another day, and then we'll be posting again throughout the week and putting up the shorts. So I hope that you guys like the shorts. Keep watching them and keep sharing them, and don't forget, as I said, to subscribe to the channel for Arsenal content, for the latest news, my opinions. There's going to be a lot of things happening on this channel. Don't worry, we're going to do the banner, everything. I mean, it's early days. It costs money, time, and very slowly you're going to start seeing some great changes to the channel, better quality, hopefully better quality videos as well in terms of visuals. And we're going to try and do some live streams with some fellow content makers. We're going to try and link up with people if we can. So we're going to make it a bit more, interesting for you guys. And I'm sure you don't always want to hear my opinions. You want to hear other people's opinions. And so that's what we're going to try and do. So my people, my brothers and sisters from the Arsenal fandom around the world, you take care of yourselves, big up yourselves, and keep watching this channel and keep supporting the Arsenal. I believe there'll be some good times ahead. I still don't know if Arteta's a man, but whether Arteta's there or not, I can see us doing some big things within the next 2 to 3 years. Anyway, you take care of yourselves, and as I said, subscribe and like the videos, and peace.